Honey, so you can see what's going on. A very trying period for me at Motown, even.
It was with
that time
everyone.
I was struggling for some sort of independence and some sort of recognition. Evil with Motown at the time, and we weren't getting on at all. And I was really broke, and things didn't look too good, so I was stuck in this forest, and I couldn't see.
Or soul, as it's called, is something that you feel from within, and you do it spontaneously, and it is not something that you learn to do.
Why did Berry Gordy, the man behind Motown, hate Marvin Gaye after all they had been through? Weren't they like family? Marvin was one of Motown's biggest stars, and Berry helped make him famous.
Sexual healing, baby, is good for me.
But something happened that made Berry so angry. Was it about music, money, or something more personal? What did Marvin do that made Berry feel so betrayed? Let's find out what really happened.
So I had a passion at 8 years old, and anyone that can get a passion that early and really know what it is, and my passion was to make people happy.
By 1971, Motown was the most popular music label in America. It made happy, catchy songs that people of all races loved. In the past 10 years, over 100 songs from Motown made it to the top 10 charts. The man behind this success was Berry Gordy. He had a system to make hit songs. He often gave the same song to different artists and producers to see who could make the best version. A Motown song had to be easy to dance to, have a fun melody, and simple, safe lyrics. The songs were so clean that even parents liked them. Gordy had strict rules. If a song didn't fit his style, it never got released. This system created many famous songs for stars like Stevie Wonder, The Supremes,
My baby love, been letting you, miskissing you.
The Temptations,
What can make me feel this way, my girl?
The Four Tops,
I'll be there with a love that will see you through.
and Marvin Gaye.
Sexual healing, baby, is good for me.
Marvin Gaye was one of Motown's biggest stars, but he was not always happy. He saw the world changing. There were fights for civil rights, and the Vietnam War was happening. He felt he could not keep singing happy songs when so many bad things were going on. He wanted to make music that had a deeper meaning. One day he worked with Obie Benson from the Four Tops. Together they made a song called What's Going On. This song was different from other Motown hits. It was not happy. It had a sad, serious feeling. It talked about real problems in the world. The song had jazz influences, different vocal layers, and even background noise that sounded like people talking at a party. It changed how people saw R&B music. Marvin Gaye felt proud of this song. He called it his greatest work.
During that period that we conceived it, and there was a lot of unrest in America. There were college kids being shot in campuses, and my brother was at war, and I prayed a lot that he would come through safely. And
Now when Marvin recorded What's Going On, he played it for Berry Gordy, and he was shocked. Gordy hated it. He said, "This is the worst thing I ever heard in my life." Gordy didn't like the song because it talked about war, pain, and struggle. He thought What's Going On was too political and would hurt Marvin Gaye's career. He also worried it would hurt Motown's image, so he refused to release it. Marvin Gaye did not accept this. He believed in the song. He told Gordy he would not record anything else for Motown unless they released What's Going On. This was a big problem because even Motown's music team didn't like the song, but one person at Motown saw something special. His name was Harry Balk. He loved the song and kept playing it for others, but most didn't understand it. Stevie Wonder liked it, but no one else did.
honey, so you can see what's going on.
Balk took a big risk. Without telling Gordy, he secretly made 100,000 copies of the song and sent them to stores. The song sold out fast. He quickly made 100,000 more copies. People loved it. By the time Gordy found out, What's Going On had become Motown's fastest selling song ever. The song that Gordy once hated became one of Marvin Gaye's greatest hits. After it peaked 1 on the Soul chart, 2 on the Hot 100, and continuing to sell over 2 million units, Gordy suddenly had a complete change of heart about the song. He told Gaye that Motown would now release an album of anything he wanted, provided he could finish it in 30 days. Gaye did it in 10, creating a song cycle that drew from the same bleak themes, laid-back instrumentation, and sad tones that inspired the offer's genesis. That album, also called What's Going On, also became the fastest-selling album in Motown's history, also selling 2 million units. It included Mercy Mercy Me, The Ecology, and Inner City Blues, Make Me Wanna Holler, two anthems of decay and loss that added to Motown's haul of American top 10 hits, redefining what was truly the sound of young America. It also redefined Marvin Gaye in the eyes of musical tastemakers. BBC Music called What's Going On a masterpiece. Rolling Stone proclaimed it Album of the Year. Billboard named him Trendsetter of the Year, all of which paled to his biggest coup, resigning with Motown for a historic $1 million and complete creative control of his music. In the span of 1 year, Gaye's music had transitioned from unreleasable to visionary, and the song that he refused to change changed everything. What's Going On has been added to the Library of Congress's National Recording Registry and the Grammy Hall of Fame. It's also appeared on over 40 international critics' lists of top 100 records ever made, with The Guardian and NME ranking it number 1. Berry Gordy said during an interview with a source, "I thought those records would ruin him. Instead, they made him an icon," although he still didn't say he actually liked it.
Distant lover, oh baby.
Also, there was the drama between Gaye and his marriage to Anna Gordy, of course, the sister of Berry Gordy. Anna was much older than Marvin, and the couple struggled to have children. They ended up adopting a baby boy, Marvin III. However, the story behind this adoption was anything but simple. The child's biological mother, Denise Gordy, was Anna's niece. She was only 16 when she gave birth, and it was later revealed in a book by Michael Eric Dyson, Mercy Mercy Me, The Art, Loves, and Demons of Marvin Gaye, that Marvin Gaye himself was the biological father of the child. The situation was shocking. Denise was underage at the time Marvin had a relationship with her. Marvin kept this a secret for many years, probably because admitting it could have caused him legal problems. He never publicly confirmed that he was the father of Marvin III, but the revelation still caused controversy. Despite these issues, Marvin stayed with Anna for some time. However, their marriage eventually fell apart. Unfortunately, it was quite a troubled marriage, as Gaye admitted to David Ritz via Rolling Stone. "There was tremendous love between us and tremendous need for one another," the singer said. "But I couldn't be controlled, not by a wife, not by a manager, not by a record company. I was born a ram and a rebel." In 1975, Anna Gordy Gaye would file for divorce after 12 years of marriage. 1 year later, the alimony payments were just too expensive for Gaye to keep paying. Allegedly owing $600,000 to his ex-wife and unable to pay back taxes, the legendary crooner filed for bankruptcy, and his financial decline quickly escalated after that. He agreed to pay Anna the money he owed, with the settlement stipulating that the first $307,000 would be an advance payment coming from the royalties from the next album he'd release. The remaining $293,000 would come from subsequent royalties off future albums. All this put a strain between him and Berry Gordy. But the drama didn't stop there. Gaye's relationship with his label, Motown, also started to fall apart.
He was with Motown at the time, and we weren't getting on at all. And I was really broke, and things didn't look too good, so I was stuck in this forest, and I couldn't see.
The final straw came when Motown released Gaye's album In Our Lifetime without his approval. Not only did they change the title of the album, they removed a crucial question mark, but they also altered the production of the album without consulting him. Gaye was furious. He felt that the removal of the question mark in the album's title changed its meaning entirely. In his mind, the question was the essence of the album. Is the world coming to an end in our lifetime?
In addition to the war, you were talking about what we were doing to the air and to the food we were eating.
Well, I tried to write a general kind of broad statement. I didn't want to step on any toes particularly, and I still don't, but...
He also wasn't happy about how Motown added extra instrumentation to the song Far Cry, a track Gaye considered unfinished. He saw it as an attempt by the label to second-guess his artistic decisions, and he was outraged that they released the album despite his objections. Gaye later on planned his exit from Motown. CBS Urban president Larkin Arnold eventually was able to convince Gaye to sign with CBS Records. On March 23, 1982, Motown and CBS negotiated Gaye's release from Motown. The details of the contract were not revealed due to a possible negative effect on Gaye's settlement to creditors from the IRS and to stop a possible bidding war by competing labels. Marvin at the time was going through a tough time. He was depressed, had money problems, and was battling drug addiction. Even though Marvin had just won a Grammy for his hit song Sexual Healing, his personal life was falling apart. Sadly, on the morning of April 1st, Marvin argued with his father. Things turned physical, and Marvin's mother tried to calm them down. But Marvin's father took a gun, ironically, a gift from Marvin, and shot his son. Marvin's brother, Frankie, held him in his final moments. According to Frankie, Marvin said, "I got what I wanted. I couldn't do it myself, so I made him do it." Marvin wasn't the only Motown star that had a strained relationship with Berry Gordy and had a tragic end. One of those artists was Tammi Terrell. She was a bright star, but her life ended too soon. Tammi was a talented singer, best known for her duets with Marvin Gaye. Together, they made beautiful music that people still love today. Songs like Ain't No Mountain High Enough,
Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough.
Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, and You're All I Need to Get By.
I'll sacrifice for you, dedicate my life to you.
Brought happiness to millions. But while her music was full of love and joy, her personal life was filled with pain and sadness. Tammy's troubles started when she was very young. At just 17 years old, she got into a relationship with James Brown. He was much older than her, and their relationship was not happy. James Brown was violent, and one day he attacked her. After that, Tammi left him. Later, she started dating David Ruffin from The Temptations. At first, she thought he was the right man for her, but she soon found out he was already married. When she confronted him, he became angry and hit her with a motorcycle helmet. This was another painful moment in Tammy's life. Tammi also had serious health problems. Since childhood, she suffered from terrible headaches. In 1967, while performing with Marvin Gaye, she suddenly collapsed into his arms on stage. People were shocked and worried. Later, doctors found a tumor in her brain. She needed surgery, but her health kept getting worse. By 1969, Tammi could no longer perform. She made one last public appearance that year. It was at the Apollo Theater where Marvin Gaye was singing. When he saw her, he invited her on stage. They sang together one final time. It was a sad but beautiful moment. Tammy's condition got worse. She lost her eyesight, her hair, and her strength. On March 16, 1970, just before her 25th birthday, she passed away. Her funeral was heartbreaking. Marvin Gaye spoke about her and how much she meant to him. As their song You're All I Need to Get By played, people cried. Tammy's death changed Marvin Gaye forever. He was deeply sad and lost in grief. Many believe his famous album What's Going On was inspired by losing Tammi. Even today, Tammi Terrell is remembered as a beautiful voice lost too soon.
They could tear me away
And then there is Mary Wells, who was one of the first big stars of Motown Records. Her music helped make Motown famous, but her life had many ups and downs, both in her career and personal life. She was born in 1943 in Detroit, Michigan. Life was not easy for her. Her father was not around, so her mother worked as a house cleaner to take care of Mary and her two siblings. When Mary was just 3 years old, she got very sick with a disease called spinal meningitis. It was so bad that she couldn't walk for a while. She had to learn how to walk all over again. This showed how strong she was, even as a little girl. Mary loved music and started singing in church when she was a child. By the time she was 10, she was already singing in contests and clubs in Detroit. Her big chance came when she was 16. She had written a song for singer Jackie Wilson. She took the song to Motown Records, hoping someone would give it to Jackie. But instead, Berry Gordy Jr., the owner of Motown, told her to record the song herself. That song, Bye Bye Baby, became a hit. This was the start of her music career. Mary's success grew when she worked with Smokey Robinson, who wrote songs for her. Their biggest hit was My Guy in 1964. The song became a #1 hit, making Mary a huge star. Her soft and smooth voice combined with Smokey's writing made people love her music. She became one of Motown's most popular singers. But behind the scenes, Mary's life was not as happy as her music. When she was just 17, she married a backup singer named Herman Griffin. He wanted her to focus only on her career and not have children. Their marriage did not last long. Later, Mary left Motown because she felt she wasn't getting paid enough. She signed with other record labels, but she never found the same success. Her personal life was full of struggles. She married singer Cecil Womack, and they had 3 children together. But things became messy when she had an affair with Cecil's brother, Curtis. She felt guilty about what she had done and even tried to take her own life. Later, she moved in with Curtis, and they had a child named Sugar. Mary started using drugs like heroin and cocaine. She struggled with addiction for years. She only stopped using drugs when she became pregnant with Sugar. But by then, her career was already fading. Mary was diagnosed with throat cancer. This made it impossible for her to keep singing. She had no health insurance, so she couldn't afford her treatment. Her fans and other musicians, including Bruce Springsteen, helped raise money for her medical bills. But despite the help, Mary's health got worse. Mary Wells passed away in 1992. She was only 49 years old. Even though her life was filled with pain and struggles, her music still lives on. Her song My Guy remains a classic, and she is remembered as one of Motown's greatest voices. The Supremes were one of the most famous girl groups in music history. They sang perfectly and gave us unforgettable songs. People still love hits like Baby Love and Stop. In the name of love, their music makes people happy even today. The most famous member of the group was Diana Ross. She later had a big solo career and became a superstar. But sadly, the other members did not have happy endings. Behind the scenes, there were many problems. Other singers at Motown Records felt that their boss, Berry Gordy, cared too much about Diana Ross. They thought he gave her special treatment. In 1967, the group's name was changed to Diana Ross and the Supremes. This made people think that Diana would soon leave the group. It caused tension between the members. Florence Ballard was one of the original members. She had a hard time in life. She suffered from depression and drank too much. This affected her performances. She also gained weight, and it became difficult for her to fit into their stage dresses. Berry Gordy and Diana Ross decided to replace her. Cindy Birdsong, a singer from another group, was secretly chosen to take her place. In July 1967, Florence saw Cindy's new costumes and realized she was being replaced. She was heartbroken. During a performance, she lost control on stage. After that, Berry Gordy sent her home and she was later fired. She tried to start a solo career, but it did not work. She even sued Motown, saying they treated her unfairly, but she lost the case. Life became very hard for her, and in 1976, she passed away at only 32 years old. Even though the Supremes had struggles, their music still inspires people today. Movies like Dreamgirls and Sparkle were based on their story. Many famous groups, like Destiny's Child and TLC, were influenced by them. The Supremes will always be remembered as one of the greatest girl groups ever. If you grew up in the 1980s, you probably remember the DeBarge Family for their catchy songs and smooth harmonies. This talented group of siblings left a big mark on the music world, but their personal lives were filled with challenges. It all started with Tammi and Bobby DeBarge, who formed a funk band called Switch. Later, more siblings joined the music scene as part of the group DeBarge. The group included Elle, Bunny, Marty, Randy, and later James and Bobby. With so many family members involved, music was clearly in their blood. Their biggest hit came in 1985 with the song Rhythm of the Night, which was featured in the movie The Last Dragon. This song made them stars, but behind the scenes, life was tough. The family dealt with addiction, crime, and heartbreaking drama that often overshadowed their success. Many people compare the DeBarges to the Jackson family. Both families were big in music, worked with Motown, and had members named Randy. Elle DeBarge was often called the Michael Jackson of the group because of his special talent. Elle went solo after Rhythm of the Night became a hit. But things didn't go as planned. He didn't write or produce his first solo album and blamed it on heartbreak. Elle also struggled with loneliness and mental health issues. He once said he had many personalities inside him, some of which he didn't like. Unfortunately, the DeBarges also had legal troubles. In 1986, Elle got into trouble for attacking a woman who refused his advances. He was fined and had to do community service. Drugs were another big problem for the family. Bunny started using cocaine and pills, while Bobby, Chico, and others got involved in drug trafficking or possession. Despite their struggles, the DeBarge family made a huge impact on music. They had 9 R&B hits, 5 pop hits, and several chart toppers. But their lives were filled with pain. Bobby DeBarge died of AIDS due to heroin use, and Tammi DeBarge battled health problems before passing in 2021. And then we have the Jackson 5 was a famous music group from the 1970s.
The Jackson 5 left Motown. I didn't keep up with the activities of what the artist did. I was too busy with moving into my focus.
The group had 5 brothers: Jackie, Marlon, Tito, Jermaine, and the youngest, Michael Jackson. Their father, Joseph Jackson, was very strict and acted as their manager. He made sure they practiced music for hours every day after school. He wanted them to be the best, but he was very tough on them. Even with their tough childhood, the Jackson 5 became very successful. Their first album was delayed because of a contract issue with their old record company. During this time, they performed at clubs to make money. Finally, on March 11, 1969, the Jackson 5 signed a 7-year contract with Motown. At first, their recordings in Detroit did not impress Berry Gordy. He sent them to Hollywood, where they started working with a new songwriting team. In October 1969, their song I Want You Back was released, and they performed on popular TV shows like The Ed Sullivan Show. Their debut album, Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5, was released in December 1969. The Jackson brothers reunited for a big concert in 2001 and started a reality show in 2009. But their plans were cut short when Michael passed away on June 25, 2009. The Jackson 5 inspired many boy bands like New Kids on the Block, NSYNC, BTS, and the Jonas Brothers.